Welcome to this in-session video with myself, and you join me down at Embryo's Norton Disney complex. Now it's a back end of winter, the beginning of spring, but it feels more like the back end of winter today. It's absolutely Baltic. But we're here for a 48-hour session on Hodgetts Lake in the hope that we'll be able to bank a couple of carp for you. I arrived this morning for gates opening and we've dropped into Peg 7. There was a gentleman in here who was packing up who had managed a few fish, albeit a good couple of days ago, but it's a good starting point. Didn't really see anything else to reference at that time. So I've got 3 rods out there at the minute. Nothing's happened at the moment. I've got a zig out there that I've been chopping and changing with the depths and the colours, and 2 rods out over 10 spoms of bait there on rotator rigs with little tiny yellow northern special pop-ups, but we'll go into more detail about that a little bit later on. Now, Hodgetts, if you know it, has got lots of carp in it. I think there's 1,000 carp in here. The only thing that makes it difficult at certain periods is the depth. You know, you've got real deep lake, which is why the zigs come into play, especially during the spring as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll talk you through some tactics and tips along the way, the baiting strategies I'm using. I'm sure at some point I will change tactics, and hopefully we'll bank a couple of these carp and we'll have a good session. Okay, so the first couple of hours in the swim has been really uneventful. I've had nothing to go off. I'm just recasting the zig now. I've been casting it around every half an hour, 45 minutes or so, something like that. I've got an area of open water just to my left that hasn't got any rods in it at the minute or any line pressure. So I'm going to get this out there, and hopefully, while we've got this lovely weather and the sun's decided to come out for an hour, we can capitalise on it, and hopefully it'll get us that bite. So it's time to talk you through the mix that I'm using here at Norton Disney on Hodgetts Lake. Now, it's a mix that is very specific for fishing in deep water. A lot of these ingredients will be absolutely fine to use on their own, certainly in shallow water as well. But the reality is I want to make a mix that is very heavy, that gets down to the bottom where it can't drift away in the tow, so you're fishing over your rigs all the time. So now the first thing that I'm going to put in here is the brand new instant spod mixers. Now I've gone for the Pro Stim liver because that's my boilie of choice as well, so it complements that well. Now again, you could use this on its own, however we're going to take it to the next level and add a few extra things in with it. So in this bucket you've got lots of powders, all the goodness from the Pro Stim liver boilies, you've got pellets in there, even some Himalayan rock salt. So I'm going to take a good few handfuls in there. Again, I'm not going to go mad because I want to make a mix just enough to top up, should I be lucky to catch a carp or two. And then the other thing is, you can't come to Norton Disney and not use flake maize. Again, they absolutely love this stuff. Doesn't fill them up, very visual, but it is dry. So again, I'm going to take a couple more handfuls of them and add them in there. Okay, so both of those products require some water adding. So I've just got some lake water here. I'm going to add a little bit of lake water to that, give it a good mix round, and that's obviously going to activate the instant spod mix, get those powders working, and also the flake maize. You need to give this mix now probably 5 minutes or so just for that water to soak in. If you put that flake maize in dry, all that's going to happen is it's going to drift off in the wind and most of it will float as well. So once you've got it soaked, we'll leave that 5 minutes and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients in. So now it's time to start building the mix, and the first thing we're going to add in is some Pro Stim liver boilie crumb. Now I've got the 15ml versions here, and all I've done is I've taken them out of the freezer, thawed them out, put them through the advanced boiler crusher, made a really fine boilie crumb, and that's going to allow us to make this mix very heavy because it soaks in liquids and it will go like cement, which means that we can get this mix down to the bottom, away from the tow and fishing over your rigs. So that goes in next. After that, I want some sort of substance to the mix for the fish to eat, but again, I have some weight to get down there. So I've gone in with just a few 10ml Pro Stim liver boilies as well. That will just make sure that the mix gets down there nice and quick to where you want it to be. And then to complement the mix, I'm going to take some of the 3ml Pro Stim liver pellets. I'm going to put them in last. If you put them in, you need to make this mix toward, all they're going to do is they turn to mush and they're going to break down. So they go in the mix last. And then I'm going to take a little tin of corn. Again, that visual aspect, I'm using 12ml yellow Northern Special pop-ups, and to have those flecks of colour in there, sweet corn passes straight through them. Nice and sweet, can make a real edge to your mix as well. And then to finish the mix off, I'm going to add in 2 different liquids, the Marine Amino 365 and the hot chorizo compound. They're going to complement the mix, and what you'll find then is if you leave it to stand for 10 minutes or so, the mix itself will go really cloggy, super heavy, which means it'll fall down to the bottom, which I know I keep mentioning that, but on deep lakes, certainly anything over 12 foot, I'd make my mix as heavy as I can, because the undertow and the wing can make a massive difference, and you really want your bait where your rigs are, not 10, 15, 20 yards to the right or left hand side of it. So that's the mix I've gone in with. Hopefully it will catch me a couple of these lovely Hodgetts carp. Well, it's taken a little bit of time, a little bit longer than what I'd have hoped, but we've finally got one, and it is the single zig. I mentioned to you before, there's an area of sort of no man's land out there where there were no lines, and yeah, I put a zig out there, well, it's got to be probably 2.5 hours ago now, something like that, and yeah, I've just had a drop back, and we're into our first carp. Hopefully we get this one in, take the pressure off a little bit, and then we can start working on it. But we've definitely got a zone out there, and a depth, and a colour up bait. This is on a yellow Northern Special zig hook bait at 11 foot, which I haven't plumbed it, I haven't mark floated it or anything like that, but I reckon out there I've got 18 to 20 foot maybe, so probably looking around sort of mid depth, something like that. So it's a good starting point. Yeah, let's hope we get this one in. Oh, it's not a bad fish, that, you know. Cormorant. Oh, that's a nice fish, that. Happy days. Well, just while we've got the fish safely resting in the net, what I don't want to do is potentially miss the bite time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to knock up another fresh zig, another one at 11 foot, and yeah, go from there. Little size 6 beak point, crimped to made barbless, and then the new zig hook baits, one of the yellow ones, that. So we'll stick with the yellow theme. Right, so that's the rod back out. It's time to look at the fish. Well, check that one out. First one of the session, cracking start, 27.5 pound on the Northern Special zig hook baits. Let's see what tonight brings. Well, that brings us to the end of the first day, and to be honest with you, the one fish we have had has been the only one out on the lake. It seems very quiet. I've not seen a single fish today, and I probably count my lucky stars that we've actually caught one. So with that said, this clear skies night is probably going to be a cold one tonight, so I'm not sure what to expect from tonight, but tomorrow's a new day. We'll see what happens, but if nothing else tonight, I can be happy with what's happened with day one. But those Northern Special zig hook baits definitely pulled a rabbit out of the hat today. Guess all we can do is keep our fingers crossed, see what happens. Good morning. As expected, a quiet night. From speaking to people before I turned up, a lot of the bites have been during the daytime, which at this time of the year you would expect that as well. But what was to note was just as it got dark, I heard a couple of fish show further out to the left hand side where I caught the fish on the zig yesterday afternoon. I got up early this morning at 5:45 and it was completely white over. Frost everywhere, it was freezing cold, and I was feeling a little bit dejected, if I'm honest, until I saw 4 or 5 shows. Now, they weren't grouped up tight in one specific area. The area was quite big, to be fair, but what was apparent was there was nowhere near where my spot was where the bait was yesterday. So what I've done this morning, instead of resting on my laurels, switched everything around, whipped everything in, and found a little spot in the general zone of where I saw the shows in the middle of them all today. I put 8 spoms out. I've gone back in with the rotators, little tiny bags of pellet on there, yellow 12mm Northern Special pop-ups. So I've got 2 on that now. And then the zigs, probably 15-20 yards to the left-hand side. Again, more out in the general area of where I caught the one from yesterday. So, looks like it's going to be a lovely day. Sun's out, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that those changes now will make a difference and we'll bank another carp or 2. Wow, we are into our second fish. Again, it's come on a zig. You kind of expect that with this weather, to be honest with you. The bottom bait rods have just been absolutely stone dead quiet. And I actually saw a fish show out there this morning. So I've repositioned the zig that was out to the left to the right in that general area. Still on 11 foot, still on a little yellow NS1 zig hook bait. And yeah, hopefully this will be fish number 2. And we'll land him safely. Oh. Zigs. Oh well, get it back out. So we're now well into the afternoon and the lake is still very quiet. There's quite a few other people on here as well. Nothing is happening. We obviously lost that one on the zig earlier, unfortunately, just at the net, which is gutting. But I think what we're going to do for the last night is we're going to have a move. We're going to have a look around the complex, see what's free. So I know that Stocks Lake's done a few bites recently, so probably we will head there first, have a look around, and roll the dice one last time before we have to pack up. So let's get on with it. Well, finally, we're nice and settled again. We've moved round to pegs 6 and 7 on Stocks. When we walked in the swim, to be fair, there was 2 fish show across the far side against the reeds, which is a lot more fish than what we've seen for the rest of the trip. So that bodes well. I basically just put solid bags on at the minute. I've put 2 single bags against the reeds as close as I dare go. spread them apart, and then one of the rods I've put in a bag and probably put 10 or 12, 15 mil pro stim liver boilies around it. We'll see what happens. I've got a lovely fillet steak on the go. Joe's made me a lovely cup of coffee. So yeah, life's good. Hopefully tonight's the night, but it's going to be another cold one. If not tonight, I've got a feeling when that sun hits St. Reed's tomorrow morning, we may well get a bite or two. It feels good to be connected to another carp. It's been a little while. It's not been easy today, far from it. The temperatures have really plummeted. We've got -2 tonight. Weather's up and down. Get a few days of nice warm weather. Fish start to wake up, hit by those cold nights, and it seems to go backwards. So it's not taken long. We saw 3 or 4 fish in a certain area. And yeah, one of my old faithful single solid bags, little yellow Northern Special wafter inside, tiny little scoop of pink Himalayan rock salt, and yeah, just a couple of broken up pro stim liver boilies. And yeah, about an hour later, hopefully we've got one. We could do with getting this one in, especially after losing that one on a zig on Hodgetts this morning. Yeah, morale was a little bit low, so we could definitely do with getting this one in and getting the rod back out before it gets dark, because something tells me this might not be the last one of the trip. Oh, he's a nice one, mate. Oh, he's a belter. Oh, you little bugger. Oh, no. Oh. Really? Well, it is flipping freezing this morning. Everything's white over again, and yeah, we've got one just on first light. The bag inside the channel has gone. A few pro stim liver boilies over it last night, maybe only half a dozen, and yeah, this belter's come along. But I can tell you something. After 2 hook pulls, I can't remember the last time I had 2 hook pulls, to be honest with you. After 2 hook pulls, this one is very welcoming, and I've just seen another one out in front of me, so we've got today to go. I'm sure there might be a couple more yet. Eh? Okay, so we were just stood there having a bit of breakfast and a chinwag, saying how nice it feels with the sun out. And the right hand rod, which was the one that I lost the fish on last night just before it got dark, has gone. So that bag's been out there for 12 or 13 hours, and yeah, single bleep, and then it's wrapped round. So hopefully we don't have the same disaster as yesterday evening. It's getting close now. Never know, it might even be a good one. Oh yeah. There you go, another one on the bank. Yeah, lovely little mirror, scale perfect, fin perfect. The spots are rocking. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get more action today. But there we go, the action's really hotting up now, along with the weather, thankfully. And yeah, they're really getting on that pro stim, living down those solid bags across the far side. So what I'm going to do is slip this one back and show you exactly how I tie them. So first of all, I take the rig and the lead and drop it in the salmon fry crumb and just give it a good shake, just to take off any excess moisture. Obviously, if you put it in there, you've not managed to dampen it with a towel or anything, all that's going to happen is it's going to melt the PVA. So that just takes any remaining moisture off. Then I'm going to take a small dispersed solid bag, open it up, and the first ingredient that goes in is the salmon fry crumb. Now I'll put around ½ an inch, something like that, in the bottom of the bag. That's going to do one of two things. Number one, if the rig has still got a little bit of damp on it, it's going to stop it from melting the bottom of the bag. And also it gives you that another layer of retraction where, because that's dry, when the bag melts underwater, a little bit of that crumb's going to sit there on the bottom, but some of it's going to drift up as well. And if there's any carp passing over the top, it's going to draw them down, hopefully. So once you've got that in there, it's just a simple case of dropping your rig and your lead in. I'm not the angler that's worried about where the rig's sitting, where it's placed, hook it into a corner, anything like that. I've used these religiously now for the last 4 years, never found there to be an issue, so long as the D on my rig is absolutely straight, it's not twisted round, I'm fine with it. So I drop the rig and the lead in, then I take a little pinch of the mini ultra mix, and again I fill that up a little bit of the way, and then I literally lift my lead out but keeping the rig in the same place. Use my lead to dab down on top of the pellets just to make sure that all of that is nice and compressed. But now you've got a nice bit of separation between your lead and your hook bait. Next up, a little bit more pellet, and then we're going to take some pink Himalayan rock salt. Great additive at any time of the year, but especially at this time of the year, so a little pinch of that goes in there. Then we move over to the Pro Stim boilies, and all I've done is I've broken 2 up, so there's a little bit of crumb in there, a few bigger bits, maybe a couple of half baits. After that, we're going to take the pellet again and just continue to fill the bag. I like to fill the bag about 3/4 of the way through, because then when you grab the top, pat the bag down, twist it, everything's going to nicely compact down and down. The only thing I look for is making sure that my lead is bang centre of that bag, so when I cast, there's no wobbling in flight, it remains super straight and goes out into the spot nice and perfectly. Now, so I twist. I don't choose to lick and stick. I think you can get your bags much tighter with tape, so I'm going to take a little bit of tape after I've twisted the bag, 5 or 7 turns round, a couple of simple overhand granny knots in there as well to tighten it. And after that, what you'll find is each revolution you go around the 5 or 7, the bag should get tighter and tighter and tighter if you do it towards the actual contents of the bag. Trim off the tag ends, all the excess PVA, get rid of that. And then on the other end, what I like to do is obviously lick and stick the seam down, and then I cut the corners off. So what that's going to do is, you see some people obviously burst the bag, put little holes in it so that obviously the water can get in there. I cut the corners off because number one, now when I push one corner, you should see a little bit of the mix fly at the other corner, and any excess air down the bottom is going to do the same. So fold the corners in, lick and stick those down to make them more aerodynamic. And that is then your nicer compact bag that is ready to go. The last thing that I will do is I take some of the Feed Stim XP, little syringe full of that, and that goes in there. Again, it's just going to boost this attraction, you know, from 8 to a 10, and there isn't a carp that can swim over that without picking it up. That's it. Well, you always want to finish on a fish. However, it hasn't materialised like that this morning. So we had a flurry of action, and yeah, it's just been really, it's not been great this morning, let's be honest with you, since that. The birds have come in, the swans, the coots, mallards, you name it. They've all absolutely hammered the spots. It's been a nightmare keeping a rig in, and yeah, nothing else has happened. So we've given it a best shot. It's been very successful. We've had a few fish, 2 different methods as well, which is always nice, 2 different lakes. But yeah, this has been a little bit of a one of those sessions, let's just say. But I hope you can take some of the tips and hints away that I've shown you, put it into your own fishing, and hopefully you'll land more fish this spring. Cheers.